What was it like working with a young Cristiano, and are you amazed at what he became and where he is now?
No, not amazed at all. And I think he deserves every accolade in that respect, what he's achieved, because it's incredible. But when he came to Manchester United as a young player, 18, 19, he was this unfulfilled potential that we got.
Yeah.
I remember Sir Alex Ferguson saying to me, "That's a great project for you, Rene." I was fortunate at one point because at one particular league, I think it was season 27-28, he was suspended from the previous season. So we had a lot of contact time in that early parts of the season when Man United was playing away. So I was still working with him on an individual basis or with a few players. And one thing that I identified was I wanted to become more clinical in scoring goals. And I also wanted to bring him from awareness to sort of understanding. And what I mean by that is that people that have clear aims and targets in their life are so much more successful than others that don't. And I wanted to make him aware of that. So I asked him, I says, "How many goals have you scored last season?" He said 23. He says, "I assume you want to be better next year or this season. So what is your next goal?" And he said 30. And I went, He said, "What do you think?" I said 40. He said, "That's nearly double." I said, "Yeah, but we haven't really worked on it. And this is what we're going to do. So you stick with your 30 and I stick with my 40. Now, what I did is off the pitch was that I showed him clips of strikers that we had at United with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Sheringham, Van Nistelrooy, Cole, York. Showed them all goals. 3-minute video. Have a look at the video and tell me what you think. Looked at all the goals, but what do you see? Didn't really answer. I said, "Have a look at it again, now closely, and tell me what you see." And then he said, "Yeah, I can see that the goals mostly are scored within the box. I see that they're all scored with 1 or 2 touch. And I see the variety in goals that you score." It says exactly that, and this is exactly what we're going to add to your game. And I said specifically add because this is one of the biggest coaching things that I've learned over years, Jim. Coaching is all about using the right language. And if you use the word add to players, it's more. They embrace it. They want more. If you say change, players go, "Whoa, what I'm doing wrong?" So straight away, you're starting on the wrong foot.
So add to your game. Add to your game.
And with that, I did that with Cristiano by making him again. I put lines in front of the goal. Right in the middle of the goal, that was zone 1. I put lines from the post to the edge of the box. That was zone 2 left, zone 2 right, and then the zones 3 going to the byline. Basically, I want him to make aware, where are you in front of the goal? Are you facing the goal? Are you away from the goal? Is there a defender in front of you, etc., etc.? So it's all been very clarified in the book. But that particular part about bringing him from awareness and what are my options. And I said to him, "Listen, visualize you have a rucksack when we do these training sessions, and every time you score and you score a goal, you fill it in your rucksack. And we're gonna score a lot of different type of goals, so many that every goal you're gonna score in a game, you've already scored it on the training pitch. So the moment that moment comes, you just swiftly have to draw from, I've done that before."
Yep.
So your decision making will be much more clinical and effective.
Of course, he goes away and was sensational at Real Madrid. And then Juventus, and then comes back. But of course, we know what happened when he came back. And I really want your honest take on this. And then he spoke to Piers Morgan in here, and this kind of did for him.
Since the Sir Alex Ferguson left, I saw not evolution in the club. The progress was zero. For example, you have an interesting point that how the club, as Manchester United, after suck Ole, they bring sport directive Ralph Rangnick, which is something that nobody understands. This guy is not even a coach. A bigger club like Manchester United bring sport directive, surprised not only me but all the world. Nothing changed. Surprisingly, not only the pool, the jacuzzi, even the gym, the kitchen, the chefs, which is I appreciate, lovely persons. They stop in a time which is it surprised me a lot. I thought I will see different things, as I mentioned before, technology, infrastructure, but unfortunately we see many things that I'm used to see when I was 20, 21, 23, so surprised me a lot.
He surprised us a lot when he started trotting that out. So he kind of ran off at the mouth a bit about Manchester United as he saw it. Was he unprofessional doing that?
Well, I think when you do things like that, I don't think there's necessarily any winners in this case. But the reason, obviously, you need to think about the reason behind it, because it is filled with unhappiness, frustration to some extent. That's why I need to get this off my chest. I can't just walk out the door and leave it as it is. And he chose to do this interview with Piers Morgan. And the thing is here is what he highlights exactly what, again, Rio said before as well: lack of direction, lack of progress, lack of investment, and all these things. And he's highlighting that. Is it the right thing to do? I'm not sure, but that's everybody's opinion. He's done it. He's aired it. It is off his chest, and he's moved on. And that's how he is. I got to know Cristiano, and I have to say, he's a person with a high level of integrity. He really is, and I find it really, really sad to see him leave in the way that he did. And I really hope, the relationship with obviously the Manchester United fans over time will be re-established because of what he's done. And do not forget, just before he left, that season before, he scored 24 goals. He was a goal scorer. He was the top goal scorer. But I can imagine that another manager comes in and he doesn't really see, the way that he fits in. Then be honest about it and say, listen, there's not really a role to play. And that is, I think, where they could have nipped it in the butt. Right there and then.
Right. In the very short time we've got left, Harry Maguire, is it time for him to move on, do you think?
Yeah, and I don't know why, because at the end of the day, I think it's very clear the writing has been on the wall for a bit. Every player, every professional, wants to play. He needs to play. He's still in Gareth Southgate's, ideas about for playing for England. He has been. So I find it really strange what has happened there. Because if I would be Harry, I would be definitely knocking on Erik's door. Listen, I'm not really in your plans. Please let me go.
We now know that getting into next season under Ten Hag, Bruno Fernandes will be the captain. Is he the right choice?
For Erik, he is. And I know exactly why. Because what Erik is looking for, excuse me, Bruno is a player that plays every game. Even if they play against an under-12 team, he will be playing. So he can rely on him. Yeah. He brings bags of energy and intensity. And that is everything that Erik is looking for. How is he as a captain within the dressing room? I wouldn't know. I do think we have also seen sometimes a little bit, moments of a little bit of petulance last year. I think he needs to get rid of that if you're a captain, because when things are not going, the right way for you, that's when you have to step up. That's when you have to calm things down. That's when you gather the troops around you and say, this is how we're going to go about it.
Would you take him aside before the start of the new season and say, Bruno, one thing you've got to do for me?
Yeah, I would, because it's just people have to learn. They need to know the responsibilities. What is actually what a captain do? Not just going into the halfway circle and toss the coin and say, we playing that way. No, it's much more than that.
Here's the best to last. What chance do you give United of winning the Premier League this upcoming season?
Well, the good thing with the Premier League, Jim, is that everybody starts with nil games and nil points. And it's easy said. But listen, there is definitely, the way that Pep Guardiola and City are in that position. But still, what you need to have as the team like Manchester United, you must have the belief and the conviction. We're going to punch a hole in this. And we need to get off to a good start. And we need to keep pace. That's the thing. And I know that Erik, in some of his comments, he wants to sort of manage expectations and temper it, which is fine. Because you first need to see how are we coming out of the blocks.
Yeah.